doctor to like help me with tissue because I just couldn't contain myself. So he gives us the report. I'll try and put the report like somewhere within this video. So he gives us the report of the ultrasound. Yeah, he gives us the report, and he tells us to go and wait outside, like a doctor will come and explain to us like what happened and blah blah blah. So during that wait, in my head I was just like, oh my god, okay. I pulled myself together and I was like, the worst part is not even over. The baby is still inside me, Amari is still inside me, and she has to be like taken out of my body. So I started panicking in my head. I'm like, I really do not want to have to undergo like surgery, and I really hope that the doctor can just tell me like, yes, you can give birth normally. So I started thinking about that moment. I started thinking about now, like having her taken out of my body. I started thinking like, oh my god, what if I don't survive? Who's going to take care of my son Fabian? Like I was literally thinking of Fabian at that time, and I was just like, no matter what happens, I'm going to come out of this stronger. So for now I just have to pull myself together, make sure that I'm okay. And then now afterwards, then I'll have like, even now when I look back at it, afterwards, even now I actually like took time to mourn my daughter. But during that period before like I gave birth to her, I was just thinking about Fabian and just making sure that I'm there for him. So, and the crazy part, even we went for that hospital visit, we were we with Fabian? I don't even remember. But yeah. So now that we found out the news, that was on Monday. So we made an appointment on Tuesday in the hospital where we had planned to go and give birth. So we go to the hospital, and now because we weren't doing the clinic in the main hospital, we decided to go straight to a gynecologist, and then the gynecologist can give us like the way forward on what we're supposed to do. We were thinking of going to the emergency section, but now I'll tell you guys the story later. So we get to, now on Tuesday, which is on 5th of May, we get to the hospital. Of course, you know how hospitals have long waiting periods for no apparent reason. Not really no apparent reason, but the waiting periods are just too long. So we wait for the doctor. The doctor gets to see us, and then when he saw us, now he goes like, we explain to him the situation. And he goes like, oh my god, this is so unfortunate, I'm so sorry for you guys. He starts like asking us questions just to follow up and see if he can know like anything. Like in his head, he would get like a hint of whatever might have happened to Amari. So after that he goes like, okay, so because you've not reached above 28 weeks, 28 to 29 weeks, it's easier for, you don't have to be operated on, because I just kept on asking him, please tell me that I can give birth to my baby without having to go like under anesthesia, because that was like my biggest fear, because I always feel like if I go under, I'm not going to wake up. So he goes like, because you've not reached what is it called, because you've not reached like above 28 weeks, yes, it's possible that you can be induced and you can give birth normally. And I was like, yes, please, that's exactly what I want. So how soon can we do this? I was willing to literally give birth on that same day, just so that I can start my process of healing and my journey of moving forward, and just like so that my heart can be at peace, because you never know what can go wrong in those situations. So he tells me like, you're going to have to do like a couple of blood tests. So that like there's normally this common form where there's like all the tests that someone needs to be done for, whether you've gone there with a headache or, you know, all types of diseases. So he marks for me the areas where I'm supposed to get the tests, the type of tests that I'm getting done, and most of them are like blood work, just to make sure that my blood can clot back and like I don't have any underlying problems that may lead to any complications during the birth. So I go ahead and I do all those tests on the same day, but I do the tests, yeah, but now because I don't know if it's because there were many tests, but the results didn't come out. Like we stayed in the hospital for so long, we just had to come back now the next day. Now on Wednesday is when I went for like my my test results. Even on that Tuesday, I did my COVID test. You know, because they know you're going to get admitted, you have to do your COVID test first before now they admit you, so that they can know like how they're going to treat you and how they're going to deal with you. So I did all the tests, I did the blood work, I did everything. So I got my results on Tuesday morning. So I carried my results. I took the results, but I carried like the ultrasound just to be able to like show it to the doctor in case they ask me like any questions, you know, because even when we went to the gynecologist, they were like, is there anything that you can show us to show that you've been told that your baby has passed away? And I gave them that form, and they reviewed it, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So now this is delivery day now on 6th of May. We get there early because in my head I was planning I'm going to give birth and I want to go home, because especially if I had no complications, which in my mind I was believing was going to be that way, I was like, if I'm not going to get any complications, I want to go home the same exact day and I can just heal at home, especially to avoid like the extra costs of the hospital. So after taking my tests and everything, now it came time to now give out my admission forms. Time to get admitted actually. So there was a bit of confusion. I don't know guys, that is another part for I'm going to explain all those things. So now I have all my documents, I have everything. I had packed a bag just in case, you know, like a hospital bag. So I go to like the maternity area and I tell them like my situation. So they tell me, you go to this what is it called, finance area, accounts area, and you go and pay like the deposit you're supposed to pay, so that you can now get admitted, and then now they start the process. Yeah, they gave me a band with my name on it at the time I was admitted and all that. So now after that, after they had finished their procedures, now they sat me down and told me like now to wait. So they gave me a bed. Actually, no, they got me a room. So they got me, I went into one of those delivery rooms, and like with Fabian, I was put first in a bed where they monitored like, you know, the baby and everything. But now because there was nothing to monitor, there were no contractions to monitor or the baby's heartbeat, you understand? So I was just put straight into the delivery room. So in the delivery room, getting there, my blood pressure was taken, my blood pressure was okay, everything was okay. So the doctor comes in and tells me like, I'm going to give you 4 pills. I'm not going to give you 4 pills, like there are 4 pills, yeah, 4 inducing pills. So your 4 is the maximum number of pills that you can be given before now they inject you to hurry up like the induction process. So if by the time you're being put for those 4 pills and you're still not like dilated enough to give birth, even now they inject you directly into your bloodstream so that it can fasten the process. So each pill takes 4 hours to work, yeah. So by the time they put for me the first pill, it was 1 p.m. yeah, lunchtime. So it was 1 p.m. I just started getting like minor cramps and stuff like that. I just got cramps. The pain wasn't bad, it was bearable. I was just feeling like the uncomfortability that you feel like when you're about to start your period, like before period, there's just that feeling you get in your stomach, yeah. So that feeling was the feeling that I was getting. So from 1 to 4, that was the pill that I was given. So the doctor comes and checks and she goes like, Ata, you've not even started dilating, let me put for you the second pill. And I was like, whew. And then I was wishing like I was really hoping I was dilated so that I can give birth and then they can check me out and I can go home. But the way it was going, I was just going to end up spending the night there. So I just came into terms with that. So they put for me the second pill at 4 p.m. They put for me the second pill, and at all that time we're with Baba Fabian there. So I just told him like, because he gets really claustrophobic, and claustrophobic is when you don't really like being enclosed in a space for too long, and he also has phobia, like blood phobia, like if he sees blood he's going to get, you know, in it lightheaded. So I just told him like, you can go. So I told him to just like go outside and take a walk. So he went outside and took a walk. That was like around 7:15. So getting to 7:30 p.m, hey, these cramps are becoming like intense. So I'm just feeling like the baby pushing like in between my legs. I'm feeling that pressure there. So I go like, hey, let me call this nurse, because at that time I was alone. So I go like, let me call this nurse just so that she can come and check me. In my head I wasn't even thinking like I was close to giving birth. I was just calling her to come and check me whether I'm like progressing with my dilation, because by the time you give birth, it's supposed to be at least 10 centimeters. So at that time I was thinking, the way this pain is going, probably I'm getting to like 5-6 centimeters. So I call her, and then I call her at like 7:30 with that doctor call. So I call her at 7:30, she comes. So after she comes, she goes like, you know, it's not yet 8 p.m. and the dawa is supposed to take like 4 hours for it to be effective. So you just wait till 8 p.m. That's when the doctor will come. And I was like, anyway. So I was like, okay, sawa basi, 30 minutes is not too long of a period for me to vumilia. So nikaanza kuvumilia to all this while I'm on TikTok. I'm on the bed like I'm lying downward dog position. For those guys who work out, I'll try to get a picture and put it here. So I'm on downward dog position and I'm using my phone, and the pain starts getting intense, you know. I'm feeling the baby like pushing. I'm like, hey, kwani I'm about to give birth. And then, you know, this time it's not as easy because the baby doesn't have that energy to help you push. You understand? Like with Fabian it was easy because he was pushing himself, but now it's just like my muscles are working to push the baby, so the pain became even more intense. So I go like, hey, this baby is going to come 8 in Africa. I just called this nurse and I was like, Ebo, go call the doctor, because the way I'm feeling, because I started feeling that pressure in my back, it's like I'm about to go for a second call. And I was like, hey, just call the doctor, because the way I'm feeling, I think like I'm about to have this baby. And she runs out. So I guess that was like 8 p.m. By the time I talked to her, it was like 8:05. You guys, just after she stepped outside, Sasi, I'm turning on my left, because you're normally told to like lie on your left side just to reduce the pain. So I'm trying to move from my downward position to lie on my left side, and immediately I lie on my left side, I just felt like my private area and the baby's head was already outside. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this, because I knew like when I had Fabian, they told me like when you get a contraction, you push, and I was like, cool. So I remembered that information, and that's what I used at the moment. So I just turned myself, I just opened my legs. The next contraction that came, I just pushed and I held my baby. Yeah, it was I don't know how to call that moment. I think I was just confused. It was just a very blank moment for me, because now I'm just looking at my child lifeless there, and I'm holding her. Like I'm just like, I was even scared of looking at her, because I didn't know how she was going to look. I didn't know if she was going to be like, she would have turned color because she already passed away, or I had no idea how she was going to look. So the nurse comes back and she sees that I had already given birth, so she starts shouting, hey doctor, Ashaza. So the doctor comes. So when the doctor comes, he looks at the baby, and then he goes like, are you okay, nini? And I was like, yeah. So he goes like, I'll help you. Like me, I was relieved, because as in at least the pressure on my stomach had already like reduced. So he goes like, I'm going to help you deliver the placenta. So that's what he does. Everything comes out in one piece. The placenta is put to the side, the baby is also put to the side. So I just go like, can I please see her? At the time I didn't know it was a her. I was just like, can I please see the baby, because I don't know the gender. I'd really love to know. So he brings the baby close. We look at her gender, we look at her body. She didn't have like any defects or anything. She didn't have like any signs that would have shown like she would have ended up being having any problems. You understand? Like she just looked like a very normal child. Like she looked perfect, like she looked like a full-grown baby. You know, that like the people who give birth at that time prematurely, and your baby is put in an incubator until like they reach a certain number of weight, and then they can be released. So my baby was like, how many grams was she? She wasn't even 700 grams yet. Imagine, she wasn't even 700 grams, she was like 680 something. So I just looked at her, and then yeah, that's how my delivery process went. Yeah, the picture is always in my head, and I'm really glad that I looked at her, and like I just took my time to see her. I even video called my mother. My mother was able to see the baby. So yeah guys, that's how I ended up delivering my daughter. So my placenta and the baby was taken for, what is it called, was taken for Nini, for tests. So those are the tests that I'm going to go back and get at the hospital. And yeah guys, the thing that I was really thinking was if we took the baby and buried her, but I felt like it would have been too much of an emotional toll on us. So we asked the hospital to, you know, respectfully dispose of her body, but they normally say that like they cremate the babies, and that was okay, honestly. So yeah, that's how that went down. And after that, I was taken to my room and everything, and yeah, I left the hospital the next day. So this is the last and final part of this series, and I don't even know how to start it because